Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Route 3 replay. So on the left side as the Yellow Soviets, we have Usmanmagomedo. On the right side as the Red Allies, we have H2O PutinHuilo. Of course, got a barracks blowing out, and... Wait. Okay, power plant over there. I don't know why I got a bit confused. Is it going for a fast airfield? We don't see a boot camp, so we do potentially see fast airfield. Yep, there's the airfield. So we do have fast airfield being blown out. Combat engineer advancing forward. Combat engineer does fall back. And he's going for a battle bunker right there. Interesting. Handful of flak troopers have been blown out. Does garrison his conscripts and flak troopers inside the garrison. Throws a bomb onto the battle bunker. Vindicator does not go down. Does lose one of those flak troopers. You now have a second barracks being blown out. This is sort of interesting. You also have these ore refiners here. Sells off the battle bunker. Now it's going to make his advance. Maybe. This one time, he may need to get out a bullfrog to escort that engineer. And he's bombing down the uncaptured oil derrick, and he can't repair that up if it's not captured. That's sort of interesting. And I'm assuming an engineer capturing up a neutral structure does not repair it up as well. He will get the cash refund, though. And does not repair it up. Flak troopers getting some good volleys there. Does take out one of the Vindicators. More bombing runs there. And most of that force, Soviet force, does go down to those Vindicators, but it does only lose one in return as well. Vindicators now advancing forward, trying to get some good damage on in. Does take out the oil derrick. Red just now gone for his oil derrick. Handful of peacekeepers won't blow out. We do got a multi-gunner turret here. And does load up with a shotgun. Very nice. Warbear's advancing forward, does fire a couple flak bursts up high. Vindicators are roaming around. Was that a war factory getting cancelled or sold off or destroyed? Wasn't paying attention to that. We now have a forward war factory deployed out by the allied player. Naval expansion here. No naval expansion. Naval expansion here. 2 power plants out at sea. So a cool sub could perhaps go around and clean those up. We have a very, very large force of conscripts here. We do got a good number of peacekeepers as well, and peacekeepers can punch very, very well. You now have a shotgun-equipped multi-gun turret advancing forward. Vindicator does get shot down there. Another Vindicator advances forward, does not get shot down. And now the multi-gunner IV is getting some great shotgun bursts here. Conscripts advancing forward. Could load up another one this peacekeeper does, and now does take out one of the multi-gun turrets here. Flak troopers not being pursued. Sickle does jump forward, getting great knockback there, but most of those conscripts do in fact go down. Trying to pursue that multi-gunner IFE now. And does do a fleet jump there, trying to enclose the distance, which does. He does get shot down there. Does find another multi-gun turret here and does fall back. Goes and go shoot down that peacekeeper. Very nice. Black troopers Very, very small number. Does help bomb both of them off. Could finish off. Good damage on the sickle. And does do a nice fleet jump there. And boop. And good bomb splits there. Throw another bomb on a conscript, I would say. Bullfrog now advances forward. And he's not microing. Decides to just fall back, which is probably good. We've got, looks like some satellites being brought on in. They'll rain down shortly. Tells off the motor gun turret in time, very nice. And now these forces are advancing forward, but they're all quite wounded and not really threatening, honestly. We've got a handful of guarding tanks here now. Vindicators who received some good bomb runs there. Takes out all of those bullfrogs barring one, and none of the Vindicators went down. Vindicators coming for another bomb run. Looks like they're planting some wall segments now. Bullfrogs. One of them does go down, and none of the Vindicators go down once again. So just tier 1 for the allied player. So the player is eyeing the naval expansion. Something's being applied as well. Looks like more wall segments. He could eye. Yep, there's a naval yard there. You may want to eye for a flak tower. No spot this expansion as well. Bomb run coming on in. Get some good damage there onto the construction yard. Good damage there onto the ore refinery. Good splash damage at least. The ore collector, of course, does withstand most of the abuse. Over here, do have a tier 2 naval yard being improved by. I'm not sure what's close by. There's the gone yard. You now have a terror drone moving about. There is a hydrofoil now deployed on the field. Blue sub now makes its way forward, maybe eyeing for some ultra torpedoes. And looks like the terror drone does get cleaned up by the Riptide. Ultra torpedoes could be very useful right now. Oh, there's the ultra torpedoes. I could have sworn that was a ram maneuver from a Shogun battleship. Blue sub trying to back off away from the force, and there's a weapon jammer there. And does fire torpedoes there and does get forced sink. We do now have, looks like, a handful of satellites raining on in. And some good damage down the naval yard. Does find another volley onto the prospector and gets his weapon jammed. Riptide actually went down to those satellites, didn't it? More cool subs pushing way forward, trying to get some good damage there. More Riptides. We do have now 3 Akula subs. It takes out the hydrofoil immediately with a volley and does avoid those bombs there with his submersion. One ultra torpedo does connect on this Riptide. This Akula sub severely wounded. Does use ultra torpedoes trying to focus down that naval yard. Does take out the naval yard now. Akula sub does avoid those missiles, but does not escape the torpedoes. More Vindicators coming on in. Get some good bomb run there onto the ore refinery. now I got this. Wait. Why is there a Soviet ore collector right there? Interrupt this opponent's refinery. What the hell? And now it's in a spot where it can't be shot at. What on earth is that? Ore refining does go down. This is not refining. This one is refining. So the allied player's on 2 refineries right now. Looks like that one went down to twin blades. The cool subs does go down. All cool subs go down. Got another ore collector here because that's the one that was from this refinery. And now the Navy Yard's receiving some bomber runs. This one has not been corrected. You need to sell off some wall segments there to stop a ore collector harassment via ore collector. Is that even a thing? But this is not even Empire ore collectors either. This is straight up Soviet ore collectors bullying prospectors. What on earth is that? Twin blades need to fall back. Maybe a crusher crane could help pop off their health. Because right now I think there's more holes in it than there should be. As the allied player not realizes an ore collector in his refinery line. Good bomb runs there onto the construction yard. And now I do got these hammer tanks advancing forward. You now have satellites being rained on in. That may be level 2 or level 3. It is level 2. Which is not enough to take out an oil derrick. Hammer tanks now advancing forward. Does have a handful of bullfrogs and twin blades and bears and sickles and conscripts for support. You got Kraus shot right there and he walks straight into it. Hammer tanks now advancing forward. You got a apocalypse tank out in the field. That's unusual. It's not currently finding anything or crushing anything. You got nice roars there from the bears, but looks like the bears got cleaned on up. Apocalypse tank needs to start hitting these guardian tanks and may try crushing this infantry force. Needs to hit these javelin troops. And the tank terror drone spies that clean up the last of the javelin troops. We still have a single apocalypse tank here. 2 javelin troops over here, so the twin blades could quickly finish them off, or maybe Natasha. Natasha does get bombed by Vindicators. You now have an aircraft carrier on the field with some Riptide support. While the ore collector has been killed off finally, the ore prospector has not been retasked. He's on one of those prospectors, very nice, and now got this cool sub receiving quite a bit of torpedoes now. Oh, harpoon. Harpoon. Oh, and he pulled the apocalypse tank pulled himself off the cliff and killed himself like that. You gotta be careful. It's a tug of war. Whoever loses the tug of war dies. In this case, the apocalypse tank is lost. The aircraft carrier is heavy enough that the apocalypse tank does get dragged forward. In that case, he was just unsuccessful. If he were to hit the hydrofoil, some of these other ground units here, and pull them up, they will be destroyed, but the apocalypse tank does lose that tug of war. I really wish rather than exploding, the apocalypse tank just falls off the cliff and explodes downwards. Construction yard now receiving some more bomb runs from the Vindicators. There's 2 fully heroic Vindicators. Apocalypse tanks advancing forward. We do have a terror drone to support it. So you got a number of guardian tanks here. Bullfrogs can't do much. The terror drone can't do much. And I don't think the apocalypse tank can really handle much of this fight. Does get killed off before getting the infect. Apocalypse tank's receiving quite a bit of fire. Does take out one of those riptides. Boxman's the guns are doing some decent work. There's a fire shot there. Do we see a snipe shot? I don't see a snipe shot anywhere. Those lose that apocalypse tank. This one's still being blasted. Let's get some good kills there. And no pilot snipes. You now have a cure-off airship. Not set aggressive stand, which is actually a big mistake. If you set aggressive, it does go ahead and drop bombs on anything below it. Does take out that ore refinery now. A lot of missile fire here. There it goes. Now it's the aggressive. Or maybe just try to hit the prospector. War factory does go down. Got some snipe shots pushing way forward. With no pilot snipes. Wounded apocalypse tanks advance forward is Factor C1. And there's a pilot snipe onto a guardian tank. The guardian tank will get crushed by the apocalypse. And all this ground force will be cleaned on up. Now do have an elite apocalypse tank. However, these Vindicators have been constantly getting some good bomb runs. Does take out a heroic one there. Looks like he's dashed down one heroic Vindicator. You now have an aircraft carrier pushing me forward, but we'll see some twin blade rockets. Natasha's now advancing forward. We've got some more satellites raining on in. Takes up the boot camp there. Natasha's now a heroic, and this is a level 3 satellite raining on in. Takes out the Apollo as well. And there goes most of those walls. Natasha's still alive. Infrastructure severely wounded there. She could perhaps push forward and pilot snipe the aircraft carrier. Looks like the hydrofoil killed off all those twin blades. Blows up their power plant still. May want to go for a snipe, pilot snipe there. Hawk tanks advancing forward. And looks like Natasha does get inside the bullfrog. She does get launched. Air drone's still alive. More bomber runs on this apocalypse tank. Multiple kills there by the apocalypse tanks. Natasha now seeing a bomber run, try to go for a cryo blast. Does take out the airfield. Gave her a full heroic, and now she does get frozen. I don't see anything in the region of kill her off, however. She will still be frozen for quite some time. Twin blades now hitting this prospector. Hawk snakes could just go and crush the walls. And here comes a bombing run from the aircraft carrier. Natasha needs to get over here to this aircraft carrier and pilot snipe it. Hawk snakes receiving some fire there. These apocalypse snakes need set to aggressive. And this refinery will go down. And not sure what exploded over there. Twinblade's now taking out that refinery. Do got Natasha's now heading out to sea, but she's going to be overwhelmed fire. Does find pilots like that elite aircraft carrier, and she does get gunned down by the Riptides. More bomber runs coming out by these Vindicators, just trying to deal with the apocalypse tanks. Oh, needs to get rid of one of these ore collectors. He may have a crusher crane somewhere. No, we do not. Just keep it off the side will be probably good. And now, oh, the MCV gets harpooned. These twin blades need to focus down some of those javelin troops there. Does go ahead and recapture the aircraft carrier and does take out the apocalypse tank. One for this power plant's very nice. Twin blade does not finish off one of those javelin troops. Power plant does go down. And now do have the hydrofoil get some good damage there. And blade does go down and makes the javelin troop somersault. That's a cure-off. Hydrofoil, heroic hydrofoil trying to deal with the cure-off. Let's get some bomb runs there on the infantry. Javelin troops advancing forward. Javelin troops could perhaps take time for a laser lock. Kirill's now trying to advance his way out to sea. There's no MCV. Oh, there's the MCV. Hydrofoil now gets good damage. The Hydrofoil needs to jam the weapon of the Kirov. It does get shot down. And the carcass will not explode anything important. Oh, Cryogen does get a great kill there. I don't think the Cryogen was needed because I think that refinery went down to regular bombs. It was that low health. More Twin Blades pushing way forward. Will gun down those Javelin troops there. Doesn't lose any of the Twin Blades. They're severely wounded, however. Hollow in the air. Gains good damage there. Needs to hit the Veteran 1 first. Does get the kill on the Veteran 1. And now here comes the MiGs taking out the Heroic Apollo now. Got a cash bounty now deployed on the field. Of course, the NCVs are now trying to escape. Crusher Crane. A Crusher Crane will pay for itself because it's going to be 2,100 credits if he crushes those ore collectors. More hydrofoils being pulled on out. Let's got level 3 satellites raining on in, which will do some serious infrastructure damage. Maybe rather than trying to drop an MCV, should have focused more on this over here. That may take out the airfield. It's a little bit off-centered. No, it does not take out any of the airfield, but it does make it severely wounded. When the MiGs do go down, hit some of the wall segments. Now Apollo's advancing forward. MiGs coming to counterattack. Does not get any of the Apollos. MiGs are severely wounded. Soviet players now advancing for some ore collectors. He needs to get out a naval yard, I would say. Go for a bunch of Stingrays or for a cool subs. Stingray's all he really needs, something cheap. And Crusher Cranes. He needs Crusher Cranes. Bullfrog now pushing way forward. Does get one of the Apollos now. Is he long distance harvesting this ore mine? Okay. And looks like the allied player finally surrendered. That's a little bit lackluster ending. By the way, this is Great saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.